Elijah, say hello. Okay, so we're going to start on our back. I know most of you have had live classes with me before. There might be a friend out there that I don't know. But otherwise, you guys all know this one. So the resting bridge. Bent knees, flat feet. Oh. All right. And just start by feeling out the floor. It's very simple. You can feel the contact points in your feet. You probably won't feel other contact points until you get up to your low back. And so feel the back of your waist on the ground and your hips. And just move in that awareness through your body up into your low back. And just find a nice comfortable amount of arch in there. Your pelvis feels like it's angled correctly. And your back can relax and your belly can soften. And feeling your rib cage just release onto the floor. Also letting your shoulders relax back and down. And your arms can either be out along your side or folded in on your belly or your ribs. But in either condition, let your shoulders relax back and down. And finally, taking the awareness to your neck, feeling it centered. Feeling the muscles soften. And just allowing the head to be centered and completely at rest on the floor. And next, once you've settled in your body, and please feel free to make any little adjustments if you need to. If you have found your way into this shape and you feel comfortable now, just hang out here. Knees bent, feet flat, back relaxed, head nice and heavy. And then just turn your attention to your breathing for a moment and just feel the presence of breath. And maybe you're feeling it at your hands if you're touching your belly. Maybe you're feeling it at your nose. Maybe you're feeling it in the chest or the neck. Maybe you're able to hear your breath. Many, many ways to tune in. And just pick a way that resonates with you. And again, you're presumably able to hear my voice, but tune into your own interior space as well. And just take a moment and really cover your breath with your awareness. Again, cover in the breath with your awareness. We'll follow about 5 more slow, comfortable, easy breaths. And without strain, see if you can make the breath, these next few, a bit more intentional. Maybe tapping into some lung tissue you haven't touched in a little while. Breathing wider. Breathing deeper. Taking advantage of the back of the lungs. And just follow the last few slow, comfortable, deep, intentional breaths. Last couple. Now from here, everybody, we're going to extend the legs out along the floor, open the arms out along the floor, and we're just going to shift gears a little bit. It's going to stay a little slow for the next 5 or 10 minutes, but moving into, eyes open and starting to introduce the asana practice. So as you guys all know, we tend to start with an opening meditation. Maybe it's pranayama focus, sometimes it's just meditative. That was a little combination of, kind of breath focus and a body scan. So let's move on. This was one of my favorite the last 6 months or so of live classes. So we're going to take the left straight leg a little wider than the mat. We're going to bend the right knee and rest the foot on the floor. Open the arms out. And just start to tip the waist leftward. So this is introducing a little twist in your spinal column and a little rotation in your hip. And what makes it distinct from a traditional yoga twist is that this knee is not rotating. So we're just trying to get the hip and the low back to do the rotating. Now we've got to generate a little force to make this posture unfold, and that force comes through pressing the right foot into the floor, squeezing the right glute a little bit, but relaxing virtually everywhere else to let the twist just unfold. This is one you can experiment with for, seriously, 6, 7, 8 minutes in a row if you wanted to give it the time. We're not going to spend that much time with it today, but just future reference. And for many, as I've mentioned before, this is just a fabulous release for the low back, a way to twist without any strain in the knee, a way to generate leverage deep up in a joint that allows for circumduction, for twisting, for rotating, where the knee doesn't really like that so much. So what I'm going to start to do now is let the head turn as well. So I'm twisting my low back, twisting the head, and then coming back. Low back, head, coming back. Still keeping the knee stable, or at least not moving much. Before we wrap it up and switch sides and then move on to a whole different set, let's add the mid-back. That looks like this. Right hand on the trunk. When we twist the low back, turn the head, and I also reach the arm across the arm. Now for the very mobile, your gliding arm may outreach your stable arm. And for the less mobile, your gliding arm won't get quite as far as your stable arm. So hopefully this is clear enough. Obviously I can't get the same kind of visual feedback I get live, but you're twisting your low back, your mid back, your ribs, your shoulder girdle, your head, and then you're unwinding. And then you're twisting your low back, your mid back, your rib cage, your shoulders, your head, and then unwinding. Oh, that feels so good. Okay, so to reset and switch sides, we're going to reset and switch sides. You bend the left leg, walk it a little wider than your mat, straighten the right leg. It can be as wide as your mat. And if I didn't mention that on side one, I think it is a helpful feature to generate leverage to put your foot wide. Arms are going to open out. And again, if you haven't done a lot of yoga, or you're a little stiff, or maybe you didn't do this pose with me in live class, it's a little odd at first, twisting without that knee moving. But once you get it going, and we give it some time to get it going, it really feels amazing. I mean, just fabulous. So as you twist, you're listening for, feeling for a moment where it's not so easy to twist. There's a little obstruction. And that's when you pause and come back. So you're not even trying to go too far, whatever too far might mean, but you're not trying to take it to your maximum. You're not even trying to get like a really huge stretch out of it. You're just slowly going deeper. So it's a pose that takes a little time. And each individual movement not particularly challenging. But when we give it 20, 30, maybe 40 repetitions, it just starts going deeper naturally. And again, a lot of this is just kind of intuitively feeling out where that first little edge is. And some of it is very much a top-down control over your body, keeping the knee stable to promote mobility in your hip and your low back. So then I'm going to add the head. Oh, that felt really nice. And then when you're ready, you can add the middle of the trunk, the shoulder girdle and the rib cage. And our technique for that is to just reach the arm across the arm. And let's say you're feeling a little stiffer, the sliding arm maybe reaches to the stable elbow. And feeling a little more mobile, maybe your sliding arm reaches past the stable hand, for the very supple. Last couple. Oh, goodness, that feels so nice. Last one. All right, everybody. So, back to center, and back to a more traditional move that most of us really know well, Apanasana. So Apanasana, you're hugging your knees towards your chest. Stop when you hit a little obstruction. Most of us, it's a muscular tension. Some of us, though, it's like a bone-on-bone contact, so stop there. Some of us, maybe even the thigh just rests on the ribs for the very supple. Stop there. Then we're going to alternate. Letting one knee nudge forward while the other one stays hugged. So this flex and extend, technically, both legs are in flexion. It's just the forward leg is less flexed. Just flossing the hips, massaging the low back, finding a pace that feels good. Last couple. And then we're going to hold one leg stationary. I'll hold the left one. And then let the right hip do some circling. Right? So left is stationary, right is circling. Oh. And then I'm going to circle in the opposite direction. Same leg, opposite direction. Oh. And then let's switch legs. So we're going to go to the new side, stable. For me, it's the right. And new side, mobile. That's the left. And the mobility is in a very specific direction, doing little circles. Circles. And the knee's moving through space, but really it's the hip that's getting the effect of the circular motion. Let's come back to center and set 2 flat feet on the floor. All right. So then we're just going to go into a little bit of arms out and let the head rock side to side. Back to center. I'm going to just move down on the mat a little bit, make sure I don't hit the mic. Okay, so next we're just going to do about 2 more minutes from our back here. So we're going to reach both arms up and then reach both arms up and over the head. Both arms up and both arms back down toward the feet. So just get a nice big upward flex and then a full downward extension. And you're moving from your shoulders, from big upper back muscles. You're gonna feel your shoulder blades lifting as you reach arms overhead. Shoulder blades come down as the arms come down. You're moving from the shoulders so your elbows are gonna stay straight for this one. Last couple. If you haven't already, a lot of you might just do this intuitively by now, but you can tie these in with your breathing. So that's inhale as arms go overhead. Exhale as arms come down. One more time. So connected to breathing. Inhaling during arms up. Exhaling during arms down. All right. We're going to flex both knees back in, Apanasana. So last move from down here. Let's extend the left leg along the floor. Hug the right leg in. And then last time switch. That's hugging left leg in, letting the right leg run long. Alrighty. And then lastly, let's hug both knees in. And we're going to roll off to one side. And push up. All right. So the plan is to do a little all 4 sequence. All right. So you're going to start with a nice tabletop position. Hands under the shoulders, knees under your hips. Nice stable back for now. Take a moment and let everybody find the quadruped shape. All right. And as you guys are probably noticing, you know, there's a little adjusting to the shorter time frame. So I'm factoring that in. Anyway, so from all fours, we're going to tuck toes and lift right up into a dog pose. Ooh. Now, as we so often do when we find a downward facing dog, especially the first one, although we have done some warm-ups for the hips and the shoulders already, you're going to bend the knees alternately. Let the hamstrings open up as they will. You can release the head completely. And when the legs feel open to it, you can attempt to straighten both legs. Relax the head. Push with the arms. Lift with your hips. Push backward with your thighs. Release downward through your heels. Oh. And then we're going to walk the hands toward the feet. And then we're going to walk the hands forward again. Back to dog pose. We're not going to do plank right now. And then one time, we're just going to take it the opposite direction just once. We're going to walk the feet up to the hands. Oh. And last time, let's separate the hands and the feet. Come back down to the knee support. So we're back to a tabletop all four position. And we're going to do some cat and dog tilts. So just ease your way into some extension through your spine, where you're lifting your tail, and drawing the chest forward, finding like a well-regulated position in your neck. And then on the opposite movement, rounding up your back, spreading out your shoulder blades, pulling in the belly, squeezing through your glutes, and really pushing the tail down. Whew. And then you just go back and forth, kind of find your two opposite movement patterns here for your spine. Rounding with a lot of strength through the undercarriage and through your glutes. And then arching or extending, which is really a lot of softening through the undercarriage, relaxing the belly, and even relaxing through your glutes. And just on these last couple, y'all, let's connect to breathing. Exhaling through your round and inhaling through your arch. And just feel that connection to breathing and movement together. Last one. So in this very last one, y'all, let's sink down into a child's pose. Now, if that feels a little dicey on the knees, right, then you're just going to stay up a little higher. If it feels comfortable for your ankles and for your knees and for your hips and for your back, you come all the way down to rest on the heels. And depending on how much flexibility is there, your forehead might be able to rest on the floor, on a yoga block, or on your hands. Now, from this child's pose, everybody, that was a very brief amount of rest, but I want to make sure we get this one in. Let's reach both arms forward and then off to one side, like toward 2 o'clock on the clock face, or off to your right. I think most of you will probably feel this through the side of your rib cage, up through the shoulder, into the side of the waist, maybe a little bit in your glute. And then let's walk the hands to the opposite side of the clock. And then we're going to gently come back to center and slowly work our way up to a seat. All right. One seat, everybody. So we're going to sit in Upavista Konasana, which looks like this. Kind of like a V, as wide as feels comfortable with two straight legs. So let's keep the legs active. Press down through the backs of the knees. Spread the toes a little bit. Sit up right through your trunk. And we're going to lift the right arm up. Oh, and side bend to the left. Goodness, that feels good. All right. Side bending. So I'm rooting down through the glute, bending through the side of the waist, reaching through the arm, just kind of finding that optimal shape for the neck. And then slowly back to center. New side. For me, I've got the left arm up, and I'm side bending over to the right. And then back to center. All right. So from here, we're going to spin back around. We're going to lie back down. We'll make sure to get to some standing work on Wednesday. This was pretty different than what we did on Sunday, so we'll try to mix it up each time. So as you make your way into a comfortable lying position, essentially back to where we started class, we're going to let the knees fall together for a moment. And you can reverse engineer your feet around the knees together. So wider feet's going to give you a little more of a stretch. Narrower feet's going to keep it a little less of a stretch. But you want it to be comfortable. And let's bring the hands this time right on the intersection of rib cage and belly. Right there on the ribs and the belly. And center your head. And let your eyes softly close. Which is weird, because then you can't see the screen. What's going on? What's happening? But it's okay. If you'd rather not close your eyes, that's your prerogative, of course, but I'll just kind of guide you for a couple minutes with eyes closed. So once we're here, we're going to tune into breathing again. Without forcing it, just maybe coaxing or perhaps noticing that already your breath is moving comfortably and deeply. Once it feels like that pattern is established, and in a sense you can just kind of get out of your own way, we're going to let the arms open out to the side. We'll let the legs extend out and down. And then just for 2 minutes, that we'll keep it really short tonight, completely, totally letting go. And then just tuning back into your breath. As always with those transitions, y'all take your time. You're welcome to make your way back up to a seat. Or if you'd rather, you can stay in corpse for a while.